Hello, everyone. Who all's here tonight? Who's on board with us? I just got out of a consult with a client in London, and I thought I'd jump in here and say hello to you all while I'm still dressed and before I go to bed. How are y'all feeling tonight? Are you doing okay? I know it's dead zone for some of you over there, so I just wanted to see what you're all doing for dead zone. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm kind of wound up here. Like I said, I just got out of a consult and feeling really energized and excited to be here. Wanted to see how you girls were doing. And I'm feeling really good because I just before I did a consult, I had my hair done. So, what do you girls do on Sundays? Because every Sunday I like to get my hair washed. It's kind of a usual thing for me. I have this lady who washes my hair. She gives me a nice shampoo, does a great scalp massage, invigorating shampoo. She does like 3 applications of shampooing. And then while she's letting the conditioner set in, I'll get a facial. So she'll do a scrub, which is an exfoliator, and then she'll do an effleurage, and then do a mask while the conditioner is setting in. And then after that, she'll blow dry and style my hair. It's really nice. But I get that done every Sunday. That's part of my self care. Part of my, well, so Sundays are my days to detox, de stress, and decompress. I normally don't take consultations during Dead Zone, but I did have a client who was pretty distressed and upset about the recent situation, so I did squeeze her in after my hair appointment. But I was feeling good and feeling zen, and I spoke to her, and I thought, well, while I'm still dressed, I'll jump in into a Facebook Live and see how you all are doing. So some of you go to the gym, some of you do errands, relax, get your hair done. Good. Get your keratin in. Okay. And some of you go for a walk, coffee, pedicure. Okay. That's nice. I'm glad to hear that. It's important for you to take time out for yourself. You know, I'm the type of person that's just always taking care of other people. I tend to neglect myself. And I found that if I don't take care of myself and give myself breaks, then I'm not any good to anyone else. I'm not as effective. I'm not as clear, crisp, and calm and powerful if I don't rest or hydrate or eat properly. And food is a very important thing for me. So like today I just posted what I ate for lunch, my late lunch, and typically I like to have Thai food. That's why I chose Thailand as my home base because that's kind of my preferred palate. It allows me to eat healthy, clean, and stay trim naturally without killing myself, without feeling deprived, because I do love to eat. You know, I'm a foodie, and I wish I wasn't so much of a foodie, but I'm a foodie, and food is very important to me, and I like to eat lots of it. So, um, you know, when it comes to dieting, I feel like you should eat plenty of healthy food, and I feel fortunate that I like healthy food, and that's why I'm able to maintain um, a weight that I'm happy with without killing myself. Um, but anyway, I just want to see how you're doing, what you're doing on Sundays. We are in Dead Zone for many of you who are either in London or the US. And I wanted to talk about the importance of Dead Zone and why you must have some boundaries about that. Um, Dead zone. So according to the book, dead zone is Friday 6 p.m. until Sunday 6 p.m. That's what the book says. But if you were to call Ellen or Sherry or I for a consult, we would tell you Monday morning at 10 a.m. if you want to go stricter. Of course, we always believe the stricter the better. Um, but I think because the publisher may have had some issue with that, they felt like, oh, that's not reasonable. Anyway, because the book was published through a traditional publisher, it looked like they had some power in what was going to be written in the book. So the book will say Friday 6 p.m. to Sunday 6 p.m. But if you ask me or Ellen or Sherry or any other certified roles coach, we'll tell you Monday 10 a.m. And the reason for that is this. So especially if you're an online dater, you're meeting these guys online, they don't have any information about you whatsoever other than what they see online, your profile picture, your resume, and how you engage with them through texting. Okay, so your behavior leaves footprints and information in their head. It forms an impression about you in their minds. So if it's dead zone and you're replying, it means you're available. Now, traditionally speaking, during dead zone, we're supposed to be busy with family, friends, our significant others, romantic partners, or even ourselves. There's nothing wrong with taking time out for yourself. I know that this group in particular is dominated by introverts. This is like introvert central here. And I understand and respect the importance of having alone time and me time, like personal space. That's how you recharge. I know that being with people can be draining and taxing on you, even with people you care about. So give that time to yourself. You need that. But anyway, dating wise, the significance of dead zone is this: the guys don't have any information about you other than your photo, your bio, and your behavior. So if you're responding during dead zone, it lowers your perceived value. You want to appear busy, high value, and in demand. You want to have social value. Okay. And I said earlier, traditionally, this is when we have time with our friends, our family, special people, VIP people. And that's important. That's your time off, okay? And I'm talking about the traditional work schedule. Most people work during the week, and then weekends are your time off, and that's valuable. Your time, your attention is very, very valuable, and you should guard that. You shouldn't just give it away to anyone, like a stranger. I'll tell you something. I have a friend in salsa. He's a male friend and he's a physicist, and he's actually on one of my audios called Erotic Power. He actually showed up as a guest male speaker. If you've listened to that, he's there. And he's one of my biggest fans and totally supports what I do. But anyway, he told me that, I only go on Facebook once a week because during the week, after I work, I come home, I read more articles, like journal articles about his work, physics, and then he works out and, cooking or his whatever personal errands. He doesn't have that much time outside of work. And even after work, he reads up on physics journals. Okay. And he says, I only go on Facebook once a week, only once a week, and only on weekends. So he has this regimen, he has this rule where he gets on Facebook only on weekends. And he does it to check and see what parties are going on, what salsa events are going on, cooking, dinners. He's a very social person, but once a week he'll get on Facebook just to check, see what's going on. And I've noticed that every year he sends me a private message wishing me happy birthday on the weekend. So if my birthday is on a Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday, he'll still send me a Facebook message on Sunday. It's like clockwork. This guy has his schedule down and he follows his schedule. That's his routine. So we're trying to create some sort of structure and boundaries for you, you know, to have some sort of regimen instead of just go through this haphazard type of dating. But anyway, I urge you not to respond to anyone during dead zone because it can lower your perceived value, and it can appear like you have no social value. You want to appear busy, happy with a full social calendar. You have friends and families, social circles, and structures of support. You have a busy, happy, and interesting life, and possibly other suitors pursuing you. So your scarcity drives up your value. Okay. So don't feel guilty about not responding. Busy people don't respond. If you respond, obviously you're not that busy. And personally, I would be annoyed if a guy, like if I was single and online dating and a guy was texting me 7 p.m. asking, "What are your plans?" Or, "What's going on?" Well, first of all, he's not even asking me out. So I would completely ignore it because it's a non date text. So that's one of the fundamental rules of texting and online dating is you ignore all non-date requests. Now he may open up with a "Hi, how are you?" etc. And you, uh, anyway, I don't want to make it more complicated, but if he just comes in with "What are your plans?" that's not a date request. He's trying to see what you're doing. He's trying to see what your plans are. Because a lot of women assume he's asking you out, and he's not. If he wanted to ask you out, he would have done so by Wednesday or Saturday. He wouldn't be asking you, "What are your plans?" You see what I'm saying? I would be kind of annoyed, or not just even annoyed, but it would just be not valuable. It's not a value text. It's not something that's worth my time. Considering, if you are a rules girl, you should already be on a date Saturday. And if you don't already have a date, I hope you're busy with friends, family, or doing something nice for yourself, doing something that's good, or that makes you feel good and is good for you. Like the other week, one of our members, she was decluttering her closet. And I thought that was lovely, perfect. I mean, that's kind of a necessity. And I personally like to clean because it makes me feel more rejuvenated, energized, and it's a very cleansing thing to do, to clean and organize and declutter. So I appreciate posts like that, and I love seeing women doing things like that rather than obsessing over a guy. Now, I mean, you could be obsessing over him, but do it quietly, do it secretly. Don't let him know that you're obsessing over him. You can declutter and obsess over him, but just so long as he never ever knows that you are, right? But anyway, back to Dead Zone. The point is, we're trying to coach you to elevate your value, and he has to work hard to earn your time, okay? Because you're important. You're high value and important. Your time, your energy, your love is important, and it deserves to be earned. We don't just give it out to anyone. So anyway, I'm glad to see you all here. I'm very excited about this group. Some of my favorite people are here, and I'm so glad to see many of you are reaching out and sharing your experiences. Thank you for opening up and sharing a part of your life with us. Thank you for sharing and being vulnerable. And I really appreciate the other ladies for chiming in and contributing. Now, I'm very, very busy and I don't always have time to moderate the group, but I'm always happy to see other women jumping in to offer support. So I created a space for you to feel comfortable and safe to ask for support and feel supported, because I know the rules is very counterculture and counterintuitive even. We ask that you delay gratification, and there's a reason for that. But anyway, that's another discussion. Now, I wanted to talk about one other post here that someone posted, and it's a very common question. And I like to, when I post something or if I jump in and answer a question, it's because it's one of the most frequently asked questions in the rules world. So, for example, when a guy asks you something like, "How long have you been single?" Well, first of all, it's none of his business. Why does he want to know? What is he going to do with that information? Why is that important to him? That's a very nosy, probing, and poking question. It's not a nice question. And a lot of you ladies, you especially if you like a guy, you maybe feel giddy and excited, and you feel like getting any kind of text from him is like you just hit the jackpot and you feel like $1 million. Well, you really need to pull back and think about the question that's being presented to you. And the question of how long have you been single, that's not a very nice question. I don't like that question. Like I said, it's very intrusive, nosy, pokey. If a guy asks you a question that makes you feel like he's pulling up your skirt and you don't know what to say and you're feeling squeamy about it, it's chances are it's not a polite question. I think that's very impolite to ask. A gentleman would never ask a lady that question, or he would never dare ask a question that would make you feel uncomfortable or vulnerable or intruded upon. A gentleman, or a man who's sincerely interested in you, he would do everything he can to make you feel comfortable, safe, secure, and protected. Now, a man, if he's approaching you, he should be offering information about himself to you. He should be selling himself to you. His job is to get you to know him, like him, and trust him. Okay? If a guy's asking you how long have you been single, that's really to weed you out or determine your weaknesses. He's poking holes through you to see how desperate you are, how vulnerable you are. You have to understand, men are hunters. And part of being a hunter is they make judgments. So that question, how long have you been single? That's a judging question. It's to size you up and see if you're low hanging fruit. Have you heard that term, low hanging fruit? It means an easy sexual conquest. So in the beginning, a guy may be asking you a lot of nosy, pokey questions because he wants to see what your weaknesses are, where he can, you know, exploit opportunities, because that's what men do. They're wired that way. They can't help it, and it's not like they think about it. But a gentleman, even if he was curious, these questions are out of natural curiosity. Of course, we're all curious to know about the other person. It's okay to be curious. It's fine. But it's not okay to be intrusive and to ask questions that make a woman feel like you're looking up her skirt. All right. That's not okay. And any woman who was properly taught and raised to be a lady, she would know those are not nice questions and she wouldn't bother answering. I mean, for me, that would be an automatic next. If it was a text, I would completely ignore it. It's not even, he's not asking you out. he should be asking you out for a date, not asking how long have you been single, because it's really none of his business. And it's not a nice question. It's a judging question just to exploit sexual opportunities. See how easy you are, how vulnerable you are, how desperate you are. He wants to judge to see how quickly he can get you to bed, if that's what he's looking for. So that's not a question you need to be bothered with. That's not a man you need to waste your time with. If he were to ask you that in person, like you're on a date and he's asking you that, so he goes, so how long have you been single? And I would just pull back and say, well, I could ask the same of you. How long have you been single? You know, I would ask the question back at him and see what he says, see how he answers his own question. I wouldn't answer it. And just because a guy asks these questions doesn't mean you're obligated to answer. So I'm seeing a lot of women who are lacking feminine poise and social poise when you're either texting or on a date and a guy asks you these intrusive questions, you're kind of taken off centered, you're off balance, and you don't know what to say. I would just pause for 5 seconds. So how long have you been single? I would just pause for 5 seconds, sit back and say, well, I could ask the same of you. How long have you been single? And see what he says, see how he feels. And I wouldn't answer. And, like I said, you're not obligated to answer any questions. And if a guy continues and persists and tries to, like, badger you with questions, you would just say, I'm not comfortable discussing that. That's it. I'm not comfortable discussing that right now. I hope you understand. That's all you say. You don't have to get mad or lose your calm or cool. You just say, well, I'm not comfortable discussing that. Can we talk about something else? Any other questions? Keep it light and breezy. Keep it cool, light and breezy. So, and if you don't like the date, you're not enjoying yourself, then you're not obligated to stay. Feel free to say, well, I'm ready to get going now. It was nice meeting you, but I think I'm ready to go. Okay. But in all honesty, I have to say, in all my life, I have never been asked that question. How long have you been single? Never, ever, ever in my life. Now, I'm probably pretty intimidating to some men, but to the men who are not intimidated by me, they've never had the nerve to ask me such a question. So I have a way of projecting myself, projecting my value to the point where people don't ask me those questions. They don't have the nerve to do so. And if you would like help in learning how to do that, I'm happy to work with you one-on-one to develop more feminine poise, to be more calm, in control, and self-possessed. And just so you know, this one last tip I'm going to leave you with before I finish off this little piece. The person who asks the questions is the one who's in control. And that's why I coach women to ask that question back. How long have you been single? For example, for that particular one. Now, I know the rule says don't ask questions on a date or don't ask too many questions. That's typically pre-date, like when he's texting you and he's asking you out or behaving like he's asking you out. Women are asking for too many details about the date, like when did you have in mind? What are you thinking? Where are we going? What time? Are we still on? Like those are the types of questions that women are asking that they shouldn't. They're trying to get a date and the guy's not clear or concrete and they're trying to help him by asking, what did you have in mind? If a guy is not, look, asking someone out for a date isn't rocket science. Okay, just it takes one or two texts to do it. You know, would you like to have dinner at 7 Saturday night? I'll pick you up at 6:30 at Joe Spaghetti or whatever it is. I don't know. That's all. Would you like to have dinner with me 7 p.m. this Saturday? I'll pick you up. That's all. If he's not clear, definitive, and concrete, he probably wasn't too keen, and you don't need to worry about it. You don't need to try to help him. And that's what women do by asking and digging. Where are we going? What are we doing? What time? You're digging. You're trying to help him. Don't. If you want a man to step up, don't help him. And anyway, the rules advises women not to ask questions, and I agree because women are asking too many questions regarding the relationship, questions that are trying to fast forward the relationship into the future, like what's your 5-year plan? What about your ex? You know, what happened with that? Or how many kids he wants? They're trying to ask questions that give them some kind of certainty about the future when you should just let the man take the lead. So those are leading questions for the relationship. Like you're trying to take it for. Those are questions that you shouldn't ask. So it's easier for the rules books to say don't ask questions, but there are times when in this particular situation when a guy's asking you an intrusive question, you can deflect by asking it back. That's a very specific question. But all across the board, in general, as a general rule, we discourage women from asking questions because it makes you appear too eager, too interested, and desperate to get that commitment, which is what all women want. And men know this. Okay, so it's a dead giveaway of too much interest. You want to be cool and coy, right? Coy means reserve, pulling back. You want to sit back like a sponge. Let him be an open book. Let him spill his guts. Let him share his whole life story. And yes, you can ask specific questions. Now, I do have a class or a lesson called Time Stand Still, where I coach women on how to develop deep emotional intimacy and create rapport with men. And there are specific questions that I teach women on how to ask. There's a certain way to ask, and I provide that in that lesson. But anyway, I just wanted to jump in here while I was still up and wired and excited, as I usually am right after a consult. And like I said, I'm still dressed, and just want to see how you're all doing. But anyway, men can be an open book. Women must be a mystery. And I want you to be like a sponge, absorbing everything, but releasing very little. All right? So I hope you enjoyed our 30-minute lesson here. It's about 30 minutes. It's 11:30 here at night in Chiang Mai. Some of you are probably having lunch over there. But anyway, I'm happy to see you all here. Welcome. I hope you enjoy our space. Thank you for sharing. And again, I really appreciate all the ladies who are here to contribute. Like I said, I'm not always available, but someone might be on Facebook duty and would be happy to give you support. And I don't have a problem with it as long as I don't have a problem with other women giving you free advice as long as it's in line with the rules. If you do give advice, please reference the rules. And I generally don't reference other books because this is a rules group and I want to make it very focused and clear and reinforce the rules because they are so hard to do. I find that when women look at other books or other sources for help, they're looking for other loopholes. They're not looking to do the rules. And I really, really want to be consistent about upholding rules, advice, and supporting the rules because it's so hard to do, and there's so much of it that that needs to be how do you say it, to be shared. And if you can stick with the rules, I would prefer that and would appreciate that. Thank you so much. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. I'm going to sign off and go to bed and wish you all a happy dead zone. Enjoy yourselves, enjoy your me time, just like I did Sunday here, and have a great week. All right, bye.